dad worked at a factory in the city I grew up in, and his dad worked there too, and I would have made third generation, but my dad didn't want me working there and stuff like that, and so I never did. But he would routinely see somebody he worked with all over where I grew up. Like, I couldn't go to a restaurant, I couldn't go to the mall, to a store, or just out playing golf. He would see somebody he worked with, and he would talk about work. And I don't know if you ever deal with somebody that works like at a factory, works at like a very specific place. They'll start talking, you won't understand a word they say. Like, same goes for retail people. They'll start talking in retailese, and if you've never worked retail, you want to understand the meaning of POS versus a planogram. So I was always confused, and he'd say stuff like Banbury and other terms I just didn't get. Eventually I figured it out because he sometimes would explain it, but he never had me like come to his work like in the movies and TV because they didn't want me there, and I don't think they wanted people there other than people working. But it was a weird place. Just some of the stuff he had to do, because it was a union environment, and he was in the union, my grandpa was in the union. And I remember one time in the 70s, my grandpa went on strike, and they ended up getting an extra nickel. I think it was like a nickel a week or a nickel an hour or something ridiculous. And he wouldn't take money from the union during the strike because he said it would cheapen it. You know, just real proud. And my dad went on strike a few times when I was going through it. Most of the time it was just for labor, and it was an excellent opportunity for politicians to come by and bring food and glad hands, so they loved it. So because they went on strike one time during an election year, and they always ate really well. But another thing that was weird was every time my dad bought a new car, which the time he worked there, he bought, I don't know, maybe 10 cars through the years, and every time he bought one, he would go to the bakery and get a bunch of donuts and cookies. And I was like, why do you have to do that? When I was little, I loved it because he'd give me a cookie. So why do you have to do that? Oh, if you get a new car, you got to bring cookies. And it didn't matter if it was a new car for him or if it was a new car for somebody else, because he got my sister a car, and it was a car they never would have saw, but he got them anyway. I didn't really understand, and then sometime later he bought a subsequent car, and he was getting them, and I said, why do you get those? And he said, I can't run as fast as I used to. What? You can't run as fast as you used to? I couldn't figure out what he meant. I thought, is it because you ate too many donuts? No, and then he got on to explain what is called pickup. What it is if you got something new, and apparently it used to include like a new pair of shoes, and you didn't share the wealth, so to speak, you didn't bring donuts, they would run you down. It usually take 3 or 4 people. They would hold you down and pull out every one of your pubes with pliers. Every last one of them. And my dad points out, I don't care how big and strong or hard you were, if 10 people are holding you down, you're not going to win. So I think it's sometime during my dad's time working there, he ran and got away, but I guess he just decided to hell with this, I'll just buy some damn donuts. And apparently it wasn't just that either. Sometimes people just point at you and tap you to bring donuts, just for no reason. So that one was pretty ridiculous. And then another story, they had a break room, and somebody brought a bucket of chicken. I don't know if you've seen the KFC Popeyes bucket of chicken. It usually has like a cover on top to keep the heat in. Well, somebody brought it, I guess they had leftover chicken, and someone took the top off of it, took it in the bathroom and shit in it, then put it back in the refrigerator. Put the top back on it, and then the guy grabbed the bucket of chicken that had brought it, stuck it in the microwave for 5 minutes and cooked it. They had to get a new microwave, and they couldn't go in the break room for 2 months because it stunk so bad. And another time, they showered there at work, and I don't understand this story because where I live in Alabama, like, people are real homophobic. So that this guy would come to the shower, and this old guy would bite his ear every time he came into the shower. I don't get it. I've never just been in a public shower and felt that compulsion, but he did it every time. So finally, this guy got tired of it. He went in the bathroom, put some shit over his ear. And sure enough, that guy came and bit him on the ear. So you had to be careful working there, from what it sounds like. You were beyond being pranked. It almost sounds like pro wrestlers on the road, just having to run away from people wanting to pull out your pubes.